Good evening, everybody. How we doing? Great to have you back. Here we are, the Hair Show number 8. So hopefully many of you are going to be joining in as we go in to the show. We have got an absolute belter coming up for you. But before we go any further, we want you to get involved in this show tonight. It's so important to us. We want to get your questions, your comments. We want you to share it, like it, all right? Want everybody to know about it. And as we say it every week, but this really is your show, all right? And by that meaning, you dictate it. You kind of tell us what you want to hear. So if you've got any questions for us all tonight, then get them in the comments. I'm keeping my eyes on them down there. And just a reminder, there's about a 20-second delay from you getting this from me, and equally me getting my comments in down in the bottom of the screen here. But it's so good to see so many of you here every week. And here we are, new time. Does 8 o'clock? Does that work better for you? Is that a better time? Let us know, because, you know, we kind of felt now we're back in our salons, certainly here in England, and I know Scotland, Wales, they're going to be back in the next couple of weeks or so. And as we get back into that sort of groove again, maybe a little bit later, may be better for you. So this is our new time. We're going to be here every week. We look forward to it every week. And so, come on, let's take a little look at what's coming up tonight. Do you want to know? Well, here goes. So coming up on tonight's show, well, we're going to be kicking off with our usual, because we have the gorgeous Jordanna Cabela, who's going to be giving us our world hair news as she searches out the stories that she's been catching her eye, what's been coming her way. And then we've got Rock It Up and Share. We've got a new one tonight for you, because we've got Amy Senior, who's going to be sharing her look. It's a gorgeous look. Really looking forward to seeing that. Then hairdressing horror stories with our Georgia Bell. We love them, you love them, we all love them, and it's some great ones. So if you need a bit of a cheering up, that's going to be the one that's going to be absolutely perfect for you. Then we have How To. This is our educational part of the show. This is where we give you some real educational content. 2 parts tonight. James Akinson, i.e. the life of hair. It's really good. We're also going to be having lots of conversations, sort of discussing being back in the salon. How's it been for you? How's your body feeling? How's your mind feeling? And that links us in so well, doesn't it, to Mindful Mondays with Joe Irvin. We've got a bumper prize tonight. We've got a year's subscription to Hairdressing Live. Thank you, Paul Davey, and we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that, as well as much more. Lots of conversations, lots of comments. Keep them coming in, all right, and keep sharing and liking. And all the links that we mentioned through the show tonight, they're going to go into the comments. So anything that you want to be part of our competitions, how to get involved, then look out for Dan Thomas, our producer. He'll be posting them as we go in. So without further ado, are you all ready to meet our 2 regular faces, my co-hosts? Welcome onto the screen, Georgia Bell, Jordanna Cabela. Jorda, hey, how you both?
Hello. Hey, how are you doing?
More to the point, Jordanna. How are you, Jordanna, first up?
Yeah, pretty overwhelmed, shall we say. Really enjoyed doing hair the last week, but it has taken its toll on the backlog of admin, stock, products and all that kind of thing. So I've managed to do some admin today to take back a little bit of control. What about you, George? How are you?
Mate, my feet have got a pulse. Like, I ache in places that I didn't even know existed. But I'm loving it. But my God, has it been hard? It's been hard. Yeah. And, but, you know, it's to be expected. I've had 3 months off, so I can't complain.
Well, it is. I'm just looking down here at the screen, by the way, guys, because we've got so many regular faces of the community and outside the community all here. So, yeah, let us know about how you're feeling. I think the girls would love to hear that as well. Are you feeling the aches and pains? We're going to, talk about that. And if anybody's got any tips on that, that would be great to hear, wouldn't it, Jordanna? And, you know, anything to sort of heal the body.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some great tips coming up in Mindful Mondays as well in the next few episodes. So we'll keep you informed.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. So without further ado, I say we're going to keep your comments. I'm looking at your comments throughout the show as we go through. So I'm going to be bringing up lots of them into the show. So keep them coming in. I'm going to come back to any that are really catching my eye. And yeah, we're going to go into that show. So let's go into it. Our first part of the hair show. We all sort of know it's here now. We all love it. And it's the World Hair News. So into the World Hair News with Jordanna Cabela.
Welcome back to the Hair News, episode number 8. Today we're going to be talking about hairdressers face enforcement as some break new lockdown rules. The government have been urged to ensure stricter enforcement of coronavirus rules in England after complaints that some hairdressers were failing to wear visors or ensure social distance policies. Now, the National Hairdressers Federation support the government ensuring these rules are adhered to, as it is unfair on businesses that do carry out their work safely. It appears the government guidelines are not backed up by legislations, unlike Scotland and Wales, where it's actually legally enforceable. However, the Health and Safety Executive have the powers to fine and even imprison owners found not to comply with the rules. News topic number 2. Hair today, but gone tomorrow. With millions cutting at home and painting their own nails, can the hair and beauty industry pick up where it actually left off? Gina Conway, owner of 3 Aveda salons in London, has launched an express colour service for clients who are nervous about returning. The client will have the colour applied in salon and then be sent home with a timer, the treatments and the towels. The media have warned it would be a huge mistake to ignore the online sales for increase of DIY beauty. Sales have actually shot up by 115%. The pressing question is, while we're enjoying the spike in appointments, will this bounce back last in the long term for all of us? News topic number 3, Undone Blonde is said to be the new hair trend for a more toned down natural hair hue and tonal finish. A chance for blondes to enhance some natural tones, and with rumours circulating about a second lockdown, this is a new favourite, as spotted by Pixie Lot for this summer's hair trend. That's all from me.
Wow, great. Some great stuff there, Jordanna. What caught your eye in that news there, George?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few things. I mean, I personally, I mean, I know Gina, like I've met her a few times, and I think it's cool. I think it's quite a cool idea what she's doing. But to present an express service, I think if you're going to go and sit in a salon to get your roots done, you may as well sit and do the whole service. But that's just my personal opinion. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to do the industry very good if you're going to continue to offer takeout services. But that's just where I'm at. We need to build our economy up, and our economy is very close to dying because of everything that's happened. So I think we need to take that on board, and I think we need to push that.
Yeah, I'll be really interested. I'm just seeing some great comments coming in here. Have you noticed sort of any changes in behaviour with clients, Jordanna? I.e., some people, I know I've had it with some of my clients who actually come back in shorter haircuts, and they've come back and said, actually, I like it longer.
Yeah. Well, I have noticed a few people are up for different colours, which is great. But there have been a lot of high expectations in terms of getting that natural blonde back. And, when you're dealing with 4 months of regrowth, I just don't know if it's always going to be perfect in the first visit. So we've had to really manage expectations. And in terms of actually ensuring long-term business out of this, and I hope none of my clients are watching, we have tried to do a lot of root services just to get people back into the routine of coming back, and the frequency of salon visits we need to keep at an all-time high, because as it's massively dropped, and we don't want people to get too used to having roots, and we don't want to cut too much hair off.
Yeah. Right, I'm just going to stop there now, because I'm just seeing lots and lots of comments coming in about our bodies and how we're all feeling. And yeah, there's one here from Jane Di Francesco. Very tired, done 9 straight days, 66 hours, 47 client. We've got Libby here. Not lie, I'm mentally broke, and about half an hour ago I burst into tears. So tired, been up 4 a.m. I mean, they really are coming here, guys. I mean, George, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, George, before we go any further. And look, this is just proof of how tired a hairdresser looks after their first week, all right? So I'm going to just share this with you guys. Let's have a look at this. Where are we? There he is, George. Oh, you are looking good. There's a face. Where'd you take a picture, George?
Well, I was sat on the toilet having a wee, and it's about 1 a.m. after about a 97-hour week, if I'm honest. And it is the best photo of me. And do you know what? The other morning, I walked into work, and my first client was a nurse on the front line. And I walked into work, and I burst into tears. And my client, who's a nurse on the front line, had to comfort me about working so hard. And it kind of puts it in perspective, but it is exhausting.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine being a nurse on the front line. Like, I can't imagine all of the hours that they've had to put in protecting our country, protecting people. And, you know, I'm a bit of a drama queen. I'm a hairdresser. Do you know what I mean? Like, all hairdressers are drama queens.
Yeah.
So it's just been hard work, but I've appreciated it. Like, in terms of being a business owner, how busy I've been so thankful, because we've all had to pay rent, we've all had to pay electric, we've all had to pay everything in lockdown. So to have this influx now, I'm really thankful for it, but it's been hard going.
Yeah.
I think there's so many different ways in which people deal with that, and I think, I don't know why, but something's happened inside me, because I've not been expressing it, because you have to act like everything's fine to your clients and to your staff. But 2 nights ago, I woke myself up crying. So I must have bottled something in, and I either had a nightmare, I'm not sure, but I actually woke up with tears streaming down my face, and I woke up because I was like sobbing. And I thought, Jesus Christ, George, it's just hair. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that subconsciously, even if you're not consciously doing it, you know, or feeling the stress, subconsciously you are. So I'm with all of you guys. It's been a tough week.
It has. I'm just keeping up with these comments. There's some great comments, so keep them coming in. We're going to flash them up onto the screen. And I think I did see one where somebody gave some advice, and I'd love to know. I think Pilates, somebody mentioned, I don't know who it was, I'll find it again shortly, but Pilates, and that's what I did read. Back. The back has been something that's really been a problem for hairdressers, George. I guess that's because have we just been sitting down more, and suddenly... Yeah, because standing up is actually very good for us, and it's what we all do, isn't it? And then suddenly not to be standing up, it really shows, you know, how bad sitting down can be.
Yeah, I just need to see a chiropractor, mate. And I think actually, as our Christmas do this year, I might just book every single team member in for a session at the chiropractor as a special treat, because it has been hard going. You know?
I've just got to bring that up. Look, Becky, I bought a back brace. Best thing I've done. How are you with your back, Jordanna?
On the lower side, on the right hand side, I suffer from sciatica, which just flares up every now and again. So I've just got a rollerball, you know, one of those sort of muscle stretchers, rollerball, and I just lie on my back with it every night for like 5 minutes, and it seems to kind of help a little bit. But fun fact for you, concrete, if you work on concrete, which you stand up on every day, because some salon floors are just literally bare concrete, and it hasn't been laid with that layer before the floorboard, apparently that can be a lot more strenuous on your back. So something to look into. But there are certain shoes out there that do have a little bit of like a suspension or a bit of give. That really helps. So just make sure you've got some good footwear.
Yeah.
But to be honest, guys, 4 months of sitting down and back into a week of just standing up 12 hours a day, we're going to feel it.
Yeah, and I'm really conscious because I know Scotland are getting back very soon as well, and Wales, I think they're in August. So, again, give them some tips. I mean, here we are, a soft English lot, you know what I mean? Moaning away. I know Ireland, so many of you around the world have been back a little bit further, but I think it's great, and I think it'd be great to have Scotland and Wales joining us very soon as well. So keep them comments coming in. We're going to keep moving through into the show. So we're going to go into the next bit. So with the hair show, as I said in the introduction, a big part is that we like to bring in how-tos, and this is very educational led, get you a bit inspired. And this next how-to we're going to bring on to you is done in 2 parts, and the first part you're going to see very shortly, and it comes from a good friend of ours. He's become probably, I think, British hairdressing's most viewed YouTuber now. We mentioned him last week, and that's James Akinson, and he's going to share with you how he's gone about creating a graduated bob, and I love how he does his haircut. So we're going to go into our first part of how to with James Akinson, i.e. the life of hair. Here goes.
Good evening, the Hair show. I hope everybody has had a wonderful day at work. And if you've had the day off, then absolutely fantastic. And I hope you've had a wonderful weekend too. Now, I just want to say a big thank you to Dom for inviting me to put in a little segment into the show. And I've just got to say that I am absolutely loving the work that Dom, George and Jordanna are doing with the show. It is absolutely fantastic to see something like this in the hairdressing industry. I'm sure everybody who's watching will agree. So this little tip is all about smashing your graduation every single time, getting those graduated bobs to see absolutely perfect, sweet as a nut, time and time again. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, then you can head over to my YouTube channel, The Life of Hair, and there you will find the follow-up to this episode, which is the full-blown graduated bob. Wonderful week, guys, and I shall hopefully see you all again very, very soon here on The Hair Show. So today I wanted to bring you an absolutely fantastic graduation technique. Graduation is one of those techniques that I see strikes fear on the face of stylists. So it's a really straightforward technique. What we're going to do is take a center section down the back here, 1.5 centimeters wide, and we're going to cut a 45-degree diagonal line going from long to short into the nape. Once that's in, this is where the clever bit happens. We're now going to take a slither section using that little piece of hair you've just seen me pick up as a guide. We're going to take this fine section, we're going to hold this section at 45-degree angle using that little piece of hair as a good measure. We're going to cut a line that goes from short in the middle to long, and my fingers are going to be aiming down towards the corner of the back hairline. So you can see now I'm just dropping that section down towards the corner of the back hairline where the hair meets right on the edge. Good, you can just see that. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the opposite side. So angling my fingers down towards that corner of the outward hairline at the back. Now we have got some absolutely perfect guides now. Just checking there that both with exactly the same length, that's really important. So you can see just at the top there I've got a little guide, and then from that center section we took, I've got a perfect guide now to continue with all the sections in this graduation at the back.
Thank you, James. So we're going to have part 2 of that with James. And I must say, Jordanna, we were just saying in the green room, I've never cut a graduated bob that way, but I actually really like how he done that. I mean, and so we're going to see the next part of it shortly. What's your take on what you saw there?
Well, when I was taught cutting, my teacher always said to me, there's so many different ways to skin a cat, but you have to find the right way for you. And so I think it's really empowering to see how other people work, and sometimes just spend a day observing others, if it is virtually, and then find the most natural position for you. I think being really short, I like to cut under rather than over, even if it is a layer. But yeah, no, really great work. And I love that did he wear a head camera for that? Because it was moving as he was cutting, which is quite cool.
I think so. I think James is watching in. So James, maybe you could just put in there. Maybe did he have a GoPro on maybe one of those cameras? I think that he could have done that with. Well, have you got into YouTube, George? Because I know James has become massive on there.
Not yet, but it's definitely something that I think the hair show plans to do, isn't it? We're going to try and get into all of the channels. But yeah, we all know as busy hairdressers, actually, we tend to concentrate on one, whether it be Facebook, Instagram or YouTube. But Yeah, we definitely plan on going in on there, guys. And I actually love watching James on YouTube. I think he's built a really successful audience and channel on there, and I think it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, so the Life of Hair, so we're going to bring part 2 of that on shortly. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that haircut. What did you think to it? Do you like the way James is doing that haircut? And Dan Thomas, he'll be putting the links in for the YouTube show for how to cut it as well, so you can go and have a look at all the segments that you see, much more in-depth of videos, everything that you see from George. But I just want to drop into the conversation, guys, for all of you watching in, a little bit about being back in the salon. A big problem that's come up is cancellations. All right, this has been seen. That's been. Who wants to go off on that one first? Shall I let you, Jordanna? Because I can see you're looking at that one. Yeah. What's your take on this cancellations that people have just not been turning up as well?
Do you know what? I wasn't going to go off on one, but I am.
Go on.
I saw on Instagram there was a restaurant owner who said no shows are ruining the industry for hospitality. And do you know what? They really are. And I will always think twice about cancelling, because this week we've had 3 or 4, not necessarily cancellations, but actually no shows. So people that just don't turn up. And when we've tried to call them, there's no answer. Eventually, when we have got through, there's excuses like, oh, I got booked in somewhere else a bit quicker. And it's just like, you work so hard for that loyalty, so hard to build up that relationship, and that's taken away from you like that. And I know we shouldn't focus on those, but it does really hurt when you're thinking, I know so many other people who have had that. So what I've done is I've called them up and just said £25 cancellation policy, which is on the website, but I've never had to actually exercise as a rule. Now,
so do you take a deposit beforehand then, Jordanna? With their
The reason why we don't is because we have to pay a service fee for that. It works about £200 a month. It's just money we don't have. So what we do is, rather than giving ourselves extra admin, we wait for them to do it and then call them and say, can we take £25? Which is not a lot of money, considering some of them are actually big colour jobs that are cancelling. What do you do, George?
So we basically, all new clients anyway, I'm not wary of new clients, that's the wrong thing to say, but all new clients with us, they have to come in for an elasticity test, they have to come in for a consultation, and they have to come in for a skin test. And upon consultation, they will pay 25 quid at consultation, which will come off their end bill.
Yeah.
And that's the way that we deal with it. But then again, because we're now doing 3-hour colour sessions, so we do a 9:30, a 12:30, and a 3:30. So if I do lose that 3 hours, £25 actually is not a lot of money for the amount of time that I'm booking out. So we actually use Forest. So eventually, and in the next week, clients will be able to book themselves in. But what will happen is the clients give their bank details. So if they don't turn up for that appointment, unfortunately, they get billed the full amount. Because I really ain't got time after lockdown, and I really haven't got enough funds within my business to allow people to not turn up. So you will get billed in full, and you get told that at booking.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing lots of things
come.
We're seeing lots coming in. Saffron, she said she takes 50% deposits. Carolina, hi Carolina. 50% bookings too. Lee, what we got here? Sorry, I got booted out. Sorry, that's nothing to do with what we're just talking about. But yeah, I think deposits is one thing, and we're just protecting ourselves, isn't it? It's such a busy time. But how are you dealing as well in bookings in advance? Because I guess you have so many loyal customers that want to keep book 6 weeks ahead. But are you already? How far ahead are you in your bookings, Jordanna? And guide us on that.
We're about 6 weeks. Mid-August, we're fully booked too. And when clients are checking out, we're saying to them that we're actually booked for the next 4 or 5 months, so that they are more enticed to book in. Again, I really hope none of my clients are watching, because I'm sharing some secrets here. But
you'll go in tomorrow. They'll say, "What were you saying?"
Encouraging them, gently reminding them that if they don't rebook, that they could be subject to disappointment. So that's how we're managing it. But there is a bit of fear in me that this lovely, busy appointment system is not going to last forever, because people are a little bit more au fait with leaving their roots and a little bit less inclined to book so frequently, if that makes sense.
And George, I know before coming on, you were. I mean, the stress levels for you have been huge. And I was just talking to Dave as well, and it's trying to keep that demand, isn't it? And is there an anxiety that if you don't get your clients booked in, they're going to go somewhere else?
There is, but I mean, I've got a team of people, so like I'm booked until sort of the end of August now, and maybe it's just going to have to. I probably need to. Oh, this sounds awful. I don't want any of my clients to be watching either. I probably need to lose some of my clients and push them down to my team, because I need to run my business not from behind my chair. And I'm constantly behind my chair, and it means that I cannot run my business properly. So there is an extent of that, and like we also do a lot of balayage, which is absolutely fantastic. Is it a money retainer? No, it's not, because like a client goes 6 months with a balayage, so we try and do our balayage in 2 stages. Also, we're trying to get I'm getting 100% rebook rate, which is fantastic, every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but I'm making that client pay that 25 quid to rebook as well, because I just don't want to be in a position in 6 or 8 weeks time where I've got nothing again, But I don't think that will be the case, because like I said, I'm working till 1 a.m.
George, I've got a bone to pick with you. In the last couple of episodes of Mindful Mondays, we have said you have to make sure you've got 1 day off, and you haven't done that.
Did you see that face earlier on? There is definitely somebody who hasn't had a day off.
Honestly, do you know what? All of my staff, even my staff, jumped on my booking system yesterday, and they were like, "Listen, we're going to move some appointments for you this morning so you can lay until 9 a.m. And they actually booked me out, and they took on my appointments from 9 till 11 so I could sleep. And that is just so special to me, especially because my team's self-employed as well. So for them to like think of me like that, really, really nice, really appreciative of that. Yeah.
Well, look, guys, keep the comments coming in. Any questions that you got for the girls, fire them away. And I'm sure they'd love to have a chat around what we're seeing here coming in. It's really good to have all your feedback into the show. Love it.
I've got some confessions, guys, as well. I've had 2 complaints this week, and it's a shock because we don't normally get any. And to have 2 in a week was just shocking, and obviously brought the team morale down quite a bit. Now, one of them was about some bleach that we got on her collar, and I don't know how, but managed to get a little bit of bleach on her elbow of the jacket. And I was mortified because she's a long-standing client of ours, and God knows how much the jacket is. So hopefully it's not too much, because I'm obviously going to have to refund her. But those new disposable gowns they just don't cut it. They're quite short. They don't flap, like the flaps at the back.
What are they like these?
Go...
Are they the biodegradable disposable gowns?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they are good, but they're just not long enough to cover the jackets, and they don't quite fit around the collar. And then we're using disposable towels, which we haven't used before. Obviously, still tucking the towels in, but there was just that you just can't keep your eye on everything, and I'm mortified because that is just such a rookie error for an established business to make. But it's just one of those weeks, isn't it, where you just some things just slip by you, and using new equipment.
Yeah,
it happens, Jordanna. Honestly, we put our prices up, and everyone, I'm really thankful. Everyone's been quite, they've just been fine about it, and but I have had a few clients message me and legit been quite nasty to me, to be honest, about putting my prices up. But it happens. This is not about putting your prices up. I've had 3 months. We've all had 3 months of having to pay rent, electric, everything else. We've got PPE. We've got to change our appointment times. We can't have as many people in the salon. This is not about greed. It's about bloody survival. Yeah. If I don't charge you this, babe, in 6 months, I will have to fold my business. And that is the end of it. That's just being truthful.
Ladies. Okay, calm. Okay, right. Well, we're gonna do that later on. I say Mindful Mondays in a bit. I promise you to stick around. Jo Irvin, who's real resident now, going to be of our show, and she's going to be offering some mega advice with Jordanna. So we're going to come back to this. Honestly, we're going to keep bringing in your comments. Love where we're going with this, and I liked it there, Jordanna. You revealed a little bit of a horror story, and that kind of links me in perfectly. I'm all into segues. Anything that links me in, I'm all for that. So I'm going to hand the screen over to you, George, because this is yours.
Well, guys, what can I say? I think we've all had some hairdressing horror stories this week. But, you know, for the latest segment, I have fetched to you some of my funniest, most horrifying stories of the week. And here we are with hairdressing horror stories. And just to let you know, like, please send them to myself, slide into my DMs, send me your horror stories, and you can be featured on the How to Cut It hairdressing horror stories. But without further ado, Dom, please take it away.
Only joking, it's not the big bad wolf, guys, it's me again. Mwahahaha, back for hairdressing horror stories. Okay, so story number one, I was using low grade foil and the hair snapped off during bleaching. I remember the client being in the sink, and while I was rinsing it off, the hair was literally falling away into my hands, and what I had to do was I had to put hair into the pocket of my apron so nobody could see. Oh my God, can you imagine that? What a nightmare. God, babe, there's nothing worse than that. I feel sorry for you. Oh, this one is a corker. Accidentally mixing a 1-0 instead of a 10. Can you imagine your face after 5 minutes and applying that as a toner? 1-0 is a black, by the way, so I can imagine that you took that client to the sink and rinsed it pretty quickly. Now, this one really gave me a giggle, and I think actually on some nights when I've been drunk, I've been guilty of this, but talking to an Australian client and accidentally catching their accent and having an Australian twang throughout the salon all day long. Good day, mate. Being told to mix half a tube of Pure Tone Blue with High Lift. Oh no, I can imagine. And even though they thought to themselves that this could be the wrong kind of mixture, the salon owner told them to apply it nonetheless. And as they were applying, about 5 minutes in, the roots were getting bluer and bluer and bluer. This was on a busy Saturday. Can you imagine that? Smurfette Saturday.
Oh, George, you bring tears to my eye. You are so comical. I don't think you realise it how you deliver that. But yeah, those.
I'm always like, boys, where's the wolf mask?
Ah, honestly, but I think we all relate to these, don't we, Jordanna? Because we all have, you know, these stories, don't we? These horror stories that every one of us has.
I really feel conversation and the sense of community has been really upkept through the week. And it's even just so nice to come on here this week and share some stories with you guys, because like a problem shared is a problem halved. So it's so nice that everyone's still, sharing what's happening in their lives.
Yeah, I'm going to just share here a horror story. Stephen Bennett, when I was a young lad, I had a flat top too, and the barber forgot to put the flat top comb off my scalp and had a bald patch for a week. Can you remember who this hairdresser was?
Oh,
I'm sorry. That was my best mate.
You did it.
He's back again. I did. Yeah. I'd done some shocking flat tops back in the day. So thank you for that, Steve. Yeah, honestly.
When I do the hairdressing horror stories, some of them are my own as well. So.
Oh, we've got the guys, the girls from Chalk here. I'm always copying accents, especially Leanne's. Leanne's, is that? Which. Yeah, I'm always copying accents, honestly, as well. So, yeah, it's horror stories, George. So, if people have got stories, are you all open to that as well? I mean, that's almost could add those in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, if anyone wants to send me any horror stories, we're also going to do a little feature about criminal hairdressers, because there's plenty of them in the industry. So, on the horror stories, I'm now going to be sort of featuring your Sweeney Todds and other things like that. So yeah, send anything that you've got to me, guys, and we'll happily feature it on the Hairdressers Horror Stories.
Have you ever had hair come out on you, Jordanna, when you've done hair?
I think when I've when I've been working with models who have had overlapped bleach, it's really, really hard to avoid that. But I always try and just say, can we just go for high lift in, and you just accept it's going to be warmer or darker. Yeah, I have seen it, and it's shocking. In fact, my mum saw something really bad backstage at a show once. She saw someone absolutely saturate a section of hair with hairspray, so it was wet. And then she went in with a crimper, and this model's hair just came off with the crimper. And it was backstage at a show, and my mum put down her things and just ran over and was like, what's going on here? Yeah. And this poor model, so she had really long hair. Of course, it's like a hairstyling show. Oh my God, awful.
Yeah, we've all had those moments. And I still put my 1980s highlights down to that on top. I'm absolutely convinced. Those highlighting caps, jeez, they're a long outlawed, but my God, they were horrendous. So anyway, we'll keep them coming in, and we're going to move on into the show. But actually, a question I've got to ask you all watching. We mentioned at the start, we come to you at a later time, 8 o'clock. So hopefully you're preferring this time, because we kind of all felt maybe you're just going to sit down, chilling out a little bit. And I'd love to know where you are right now. You sort of sat up in the living room? Are you in your salon? Where are you? Got a drink in hand? Hopefully you're finding this part of your evening entertainment, as we're going to bring you, as I say, these every Monday. And I think 8 o'clock. Does that feel good to you, George? Are you feeling it for 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I definitely think 8 o'clock's the new time. I think we're all back in the swing of things now. Things are a lot harder. We got to do the sterilisation, the PPE. Things are just taking a bit longer. So I think 8 p.m. suits us a lot better. But let us all know what you think.
Yeah. Keep letting us know, because, say, it's all about yours. So, again, another part of the show which has been with us right from the first episode, and that is Rock Up and Share. And Rock Up and Share is where we invite you guys to just come on and showcase your hair talent. Come and share what you can do with hair, and that is exactly what it is. 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. We ask you to submit them, and if you want to get your work featured on the hair show in front of the industry, then it's very easy. Just submit them, and Dan is going to put the link in. And this is a debut performance of this Rock Up and Share. I've been a fan of hers since the lockdown, and she came onto the hairdressing community and has been sharing her stuff. And this Rock Up and Share comes to you from Amy Senior. So I hope you enjoy it, because I think it's a cracking look what she does here. So enjoy it and relax. love that look, Amy.
Amazing.
Wasn't it good? And she really has come bursting out into the industry again, has Amy, and I'm not surprised, George, with creating looks like that.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. It kind of reminds me back of the old school Patrick Cameron kind of styles that he used to do. I think it's actually amazing. She's actually she's an ambassador with me for Denman. So yeah, she's super talented. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, such great looks there. So if you fancy doing a rock up and share, getting yourself seen in the show, very easy. Dan has put the links for submissions, and it is as easy as clicking on that link, put your name in, upload your video file, and in it goes. And you know, we can't guarantee we can show them all, but put them in, and really it's so good to get you out there. And I think as we get back into the industry, and we've been talking about and getting our groove going, we've got to keep in touch with that creativity and keeping ourselves showcasing our side of the industry that maybe, you know, we're kind of forgetting a little bit at the moment, and we need to just let off that little bit of steam. Now I'm going to just pull the conversation back, because Jordanna, whilst we were just watching that, she just mentioned to us about, you know, wearing the visors, and actually conversation. Jordanna, you were saying it can be a little bit tricky, you know, having conversations behind them visors.
Yeah, so I've been wearing the visor rather than the mask, and my clients are having to wear the mask. But it's really, really hard to talk because the visor kind of comes around the ears. You can't really hear what they're saying. You can't lip read. But I've really enjoyed just actually not speaking to them, because there's so much going on and you're trying to get back into the swing of things. So it's really nice just to focus on hair. But I really wanted to know what you guys were doing, whether you're talking, whether you're, I don't know, taking off the mask to have a little chat, I don't know, or just talking at the beginning. How are you finding that, George?
Listen, you can't shut me up, mate. I talk like I constantly talk.
Nah.
So I'm just kind of like shouting really loudly, like, "Are you all right, mate? Tell me what you've been doing." Like, there's no shutting me up. So yeah, it's been harder. Like, you're hotter, you're sweatier. You know, you've got loads of stuff going on. Like, it is harder. But I mean, I love chatting to people. But you know what I've really missed? Like, giving my clients a hug. I'm a very physical person, so normally I'm like, "Come here, I can't wait to see you there." Yeah, like, I'm literally like fist punching people, like, "Yes, nice one, you're in."
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it is taken. I mean, just laughing here that we've got, you know, there were comments. Kim, she put, you know, sweating, and I think that is very, very true. Getting a hot head with those. I can't hear my colleagues. They're muffled. They really are. But there's so many different types of visors out there, and again, we put that in the How to Cut It hairdressing community about, you know, what visors that you're wearing. I've got to be honest, my mate at Hug Stylist, and he supplied me with the Halo visor, and I have to say, I absolutely love that visor, and I think we're all finding our particular visors that we like. Have you got one that you particularly like, Jordanna?
Yeah, mine's it's called Face Shield. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but it's got a foam band that goes across the head, so you don't get that tension headache. And it's slightly sort of fanned out a bit, so that it lets a bit of air in. But it's tough to keep it on all the time. Sometimes you forget, when you're mixing in the colour room, I sometimes forget to put it back on, and I walk out and I'm like, oh, run back in, because our shop front is just made of windows. So I keep having these nightmares that people are going to look in and see something where someone takes it off for a second. So I'm like, guys, keep them on. Even if you go in the toilet, just keep them on.
Yeah, I keep going to push up my glasses.
Oh,
hang on, there's a visor. Yeah, it's same with
Have
cups
you
of tea.
seen the ones that are sat on glasses? They look quite cool. And
Yeah.
Casey Coleman has one that's attached to a cap. That looks quite good, because that lets a little bit more air in, I guess, that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually one on a black hat. You know, like the hat that I wear for my logo. You can get a vibe on that. So I'm like, I am on that. Otherwise, other than that, I'm like Team Denman. I like the Denman visors, but I'm definitely getting the one on the hat for sure.
I'm just gonna, while we're on this again, and I'm sorry if I'm sort of hovering around these conversations a little bit, but they're good, and I'm kind of with it. And a big part which we haven't mentioned, it isn't compulsory for clients to wear masks, face coverings. Are your clients all wearing face coverings, and what's been the reaction to that by, you know, them wearing them? Jordanna?
100%. I think 100% they have to. We have said that if you don't bring your own, we'll provide you with a disposable one. when I'm doing colour, I'd rather than wear the disposable one just in case something happens around the ear. But I just think it's good to share the responsibility, to be honest, because we're uncomfortable, and I don't necessarily trust that all of my clients have not been in contact with someone. Do you know what I mean? So I think we should share the responsibility of keeping everyone safe. And if someone is going to peer in through shop windows, they should see us all wearing PPE. And you know what? I've had 2 clients call up, new clients to the salon, saying, "Oh, my friend is so and so and has had her hair done with you at Cabela, and because of the strict PPE, I feel really confident to come in and try you as a service." And so actually being stringent does pay off, so we might as well.
Yeah, and again, George, what's happening for you with your clients?
Yeah, do you know what? Like I said, no one can slate you for being really organised. No one can slate you for being, efficient. We are running like clockwork. So literally, I use the PCK pack. So you get a face mask, which is optional. You get hand sanitizer.
George, can I ask you just come over to the left? You're doing your phone.
Yeah.
You're sliding off the screen. There you go.
But yeah, literally, we've got people that are sanitising stations in between, sanitising backwashers. I don't think anyone can complain about certain things, but I don't think people can complain about you being really safe.
Yeah, Kim's just come in now. Just flash that comment up. She's and they're taking temperatures too. Are you both doing that as well?
Yeah.
They look something very threatening, doesn't there? When you're just customers just look what? Don't they?
As a client comes in, we check them in. We say, we have a hand sanitizer station at the front of the shop. We say, can you please hand sanitize your hands? We're going to take your temperature. Please take a seat on the bench, and your stylist will be with you shortly to continue your appointment.
I reckon somebody, just for the sheer crack, should just get a water pistol. Oh, sorry, wrong one.
And
can someone do that, please?
And I'm like, here's your personal pack of PPE, and I feel like a flight attendant. I want to go, your exits are at the front, the back, and to your sides. Does anyone want any chips or drinks?
Honestly, it's so good. It's a bit of light relief, wouldn't you agree, everybody, that, we've all been in this together, and as I say, Scotland, Wales, you can just listen to us. This is all coming your way, by the way, so, take note. Anyway, let's move on, and every week we have our competition, and last week we gave our big bundle winner. They got announced and they won it. Well, we're now moving into our next bundle, and last week we were given a prize from our friends at Joico, a massive bumper prize. So who won? That's what I want to know. Well, that's going to be the job of Jordanna to tell us. So let's bring the screen onto you, Jordanna, right now.
Thank you. So this week's winner of Joico's incredible bundle package worth £150 of moisture enhancing products is one of our very special how-to guest artists, Vivian Johns.
Yeah, round of applause. Let me find my round of applause button. Hang on. Yeah! I love a sound of effects there. So, yeah, brilliant. Okay, so shall we hand over to George then?
Over to George for the other announced competition next week.
Absolutely. So next week we have a really great prize from our very own Paul Davey, who owns Hairdressing Live. If any of you don't know, Hairdressing Live is a platform for some amazing educators that go on, do live videos, how-tos. So he's offering a year's free subscription to Hairdressing Live for the winner of next week's prize. And trust me, myself's been on it, Jordanna's going on it. There's loads of amazing educators on there. So it's a great prize to win. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Dom, who's going to show you a promotional video.
Hi, The Hair Show. If you are looking to expand your knowledge and creative skills to the next level through online education, I think I might have something for you. We have collaborated with some of the industry's biggest names to bring you the best online education available. Remember, to become the best in your field, you must learn from the best. We have a combined 700 years of experience behind 86 masterclasses. Please take a look at some of the classes available to watch right now on hairdressinglive.com.
Welcome to Hairdressing Live. I'm Eugene.
Hairdressing Live is the future of education, and I'm Christelle Landquist, the Global Creative Technical Director for TG.
Welcome to Hairdressing Live. I'm Alan Smith, the founder of Fantastic Hairdressing. Hairdressing Live, the future of education, and I'm Tom Connell.
This is Hairdressing Live.
Blimey, how good does that look? Paul Davey, yeah, thank you so much, Paul. And I saw your comments in there, Jordan. Paul is such a nice guy, and I second that. He is a really, really nice guy, but he's created something so special there, hasn't he, George? And have you been on Hairdressing Live, you mentioned?
Yeah, an amazing experience actually. I remember I was so nervous, but yeah, there's so many educators, there's so many people on there, and I just think it's a really great platform to actually learn. You know, there's a lot of us that are in a position that can't always afford education face to face. Again, it's expensive, and what Paul does is he really makes it accessible and achievable, and I think that that's really important.
Yeah, and it's like a live stream, isn't it? As such, is that how it works? And you go on live, you pay your ticket and go and watch it, and then it's there in the library?
Yeah, so basically I flew to Dublin, and then you can basically watch it and then you pay for the ticket. I remember I actually ran out of colour halfway through. Can you imagine that? Going live to 20 countries and running out of colour and trying to keep a game face.
Yeah, save that for the hair horror stories. That'd be good.
Absolutely, that's another one actually.
Yeah. Are you going on there as well, Jordanna? Did George mention?
I think I'm going to spark up some conversation. Paul, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, come on, Paul. They're coming for you. He's not coming for me for hair, but yeah, hey, I'm here as well, Paul. We're all here. Who would love to go on Hairdressing Live? We're all coming on holiday to Ireland, and yeah. So if you want to win that year's subscription, the form is in there. Dan has again put it in the comments. All the links are there. Just look for Dan Thomas's comments, and they are there. So we are going to go to our second part of our how-to, brought to you by James Akinson, The Life of Hair. If you saw the first part, James was showing us his graduated bob technique that he was cutting. So we're going to now see that second part and the finished look. Really, really good. So enjoy.
So I'm sitting down and I'm pulling the hair straight towards me. Just straight out from the head, making sure I can see my guide. I've got that guide at the top as well, just to make sure. And honestly guys, when you're doing this technique for yourselves in the salon, you'll wish that you'd known about it sooner, because it's absolutely fail safe. So, same again, 1.5 centimetre section, pulling the hair straight back towards me, making sure that the roots are nice and taut, 45-degree angle, and cutting that line using the guide at the top and the guide from the previous section. So we're building a shape that travels down towards this bottom corner of the back hairline. There we go. So left hand side complete once I cut this little section. And you'll see in just a second that it go from short in the middle there to much longer in the bottom left hand corner. I'm going to repeat exactly the same thing on this right hand side, cutting a 45-degree angle, over directing the hair straight back towards me. And again, be sure that your roots are nice and combed out, and just cutting down towards that nape area. Really clear guide here now, you can see it for yourself, look, unmistakable. You cannot go wrong now. You are flying. Just make sure you're pulling that hair straight back towards your body. last section, just all the discipline of pulling that hair back is now about to pay off, because you'll end up with a perfect graduated shape. Just measuring up there. Good. Absolutely the same both sides. So that's it. Easy technique, guys. Next week I'm going to be full graduated bob haircut. I want you to have a fantastic week.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. The same way with our link track. But anyway, James, thank you so much. The Life of Hair. Love watching the how-tos. So just really good. It's great to get that educational content. So if you want to go and check out James, he is there on YouTube, The Life of Hair. Really enjoyed watching his technique there. Now, if you would like to do something a bit more educational led, then again, the forms are there. I can't say that enough. You know, if you've got something that's going to be really worth showcasing, and I'm really excited to say next week we have Ben Brown, who is going to be showcasing one of his haircuts. So yeah, the haircuts are seeming to be big news right now for a lot of educators. George?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the haircut is finally, I mean, a lot of it has been about colour changes, and I'm still, you know, I'm a colourist, so I'm still pro colour, but the haircut definitely needs to be celebrated. So I'm super excited about that. And I think, you know, if you can get a combination of a colour and a haircut to work together, I think that's actually really special.
Yeah. Well, look, we're coming towards the end of the show now, guys, and I will just say this. Thank you. You guys are making this show so special, and familiar faces and regular viewers who have been with us right to start. Love it. But we're going to be heading into Mindful Mondays in a minute. But before we do that, I think it's really, you know, it links us in so great, doesn't it, Jordanna, that, you know, about being positive, you know, about everything, and having the right mind right now is really important.
Yes, definitely. And I think we are a bit obsessed with making sure that we stay positive as a hairdressing community. But we can't deny that some things that we hate about the job is actually the things that we love. So we love socialising. We love being busy. We love the hustle and bustle. We love a bit of pressure, a bit of challenge. Give me a colour correction here, do you know? But unfortunately, when it all happens at once and you are 4 months out of practice, then it's going to be overwhelming. So this week's Mindful Monday guest is Joe Irvin, who we are delighted to announce is actually going to be one of our resident Mindful Mondays. So you'll be seeing a lot more of Joe. So congratulations, Joe. And this week we talk about overwhelm and the effect it may have on your mind, and maybe something that you don't necessarily pick up on, and that's very obvious to you, and the signs to look out for. So are we going to play that, or are we going to have a quick chat about that first?
No, I reckon let's just go into it. It's a nice kind of 5-6 minutes and just chill out, everybody. Now, you know what, 9 o'clock Monday night, time to relax. I think this is a perfect way to relax, get your mind right, put your feet up, and we're going to hand over to this interview, which I think you done today, didn't you, Jordanna?
We did it today.
Yeah, so it's really fresh. So enjoy this Mindful Mondays, Jordanna and Joe Irvin.
Welcome back to Mindful Mondays, the part of the hair show where we discuss everything well-being related in the hairdressing community. Now, today's special guest, Joe Irvin, is here with me. She's going to be becoming a resident guest artist and guest speaker on Mindful Mondays. Joe, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you back to the show. Can you give us a little taster of what we're going to be discussing today?
Hi Jordanna, it's so lovely to be here, thank you. So today we kind of touched the other week on anxiety and what that might look like and what that might feel like, and today I want to talk about overwhelm, which is kind of the next step on from that. So overwhelm is very much your body's kind of alert, your body's warning to maybe feelings of burnout. So if you ignore overwhelm, you're going to get burnout, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we were just discussing before we clicked record about this week's gone amazing for me because I've been able to really focus on just seeing my clients and, you know, single tasking in that respect, because I'd caught up on all my admin and I had the best time because all I needed to do was hair and give attention to my team and attention to my clients. But of course, now I've been a week in doing hair, I've actually really got a backlog of admin, I've got a backlog of to-do lists, I'm really behind on everything, even for the hair show. I've got a lot to do, so I'm starting to think, is that overwhelm creeping back in? What's your take on that, Jo?
And I can hear, like, as we were talking about it earlier, you were quite calm, and then the more that you were thinking about the things that you had to do, the more, your speech was a bit quicker, and you were like, oh, and then I've got to do this. And yeah, that is kind of coming into overwhelm. So what's really good is that you've noticed it. So the thing with overwhelm, that it is literally a warning. So it's your body saying, is this too much? So if you look overwhelm up in the dictionary, it is actually too much of anything. And at the moment we've had, like, 12 weeks off maybe? So, and then we've had a lot of interaction with clients, and that's like emotional, reading their body language. We have never had that much interaction with anyone for 12 weeks. So that alone is going to be quite a lot. We've had the booking in of phone calls, working with colleagues, even down to things like what you're going to wear that day, what's happening with your dog. We just briefly kind of touched on what's happening with your dog, but where's the dog going in the day, and just thoughts and decisions, and what you're going to have for lunch, things that we haven't had to think about for so long. And that all equates to too much, which can very easily lead you to overwhelm.
So once someone has identified that, they may be in a position of overwhelm, there's lots of things going on, maybe personally, also work related. And like you said, in terms of social activity and interaction, I actually didn't even think about that, but that's a really, really good point. Once someone has, identified overwhelm, what would you say are their options from there in order to minimize the risks that they may have if they didn't?
Yeah. So if we go through kind of what causes it, which is, as I've said, too much. So too much of anything. And then what it looks like. So it looks like or feels like fear. It might feel like you're not good enough. So there's suddenly it's very difficult to make a decision. And then that makes us feel like we're not good enough to make any decision. So I've had these conversations this week of stylists saying to me, they just feel like they can't do their job anymore. Or it could be that they don't feel like they're good enough because there's other people there as well. The most simple things that normally you would just do without thinking have become a big problem, or something that you're overthinking. So for you guys that are doing colour, there's a lot of thought goes into that, and you're kind of a little bit out of practice. Sorry, I've got my notes here. Unable to concentrate is a big one. Unable to make simple decisions, feeling of not being good enough, unable to cope, fear and panic, and that's that like, oh, I don't know what to do. So the worst thing that you could do is ignore that, because as I said, that is your body's kind of alarm system. So if you ignore it and just kind of carry on, that's when you start, that can cause all kinds of problems with anxiety and panic attacks and horrible things like that as well. So the thing is to talk about it, to be aware of how you're feeling, and kind of take note, know that it's just a feeling, and then start removing anything that might be causing it. So it's almost like thinking about the problem or the solution before the problem comes up. So it could be things like your train is late and you're already feeling a little bit overwhelmed. You're thinking about your day ahead, your train's late, and that's suddenly going to send you into a spin. Or it could be that you get to work, your client's not very happy, and normally you totally cope with that. But it's going to, it might leave you in tears or make you just question yourself or what you're doing, because your brain has got all this other stuff going on as well. So the solution is to cut out anything that you don't need. So I know this is really hard, but staying off social media, classic. Minimizing your choices that you have to make in the week. So I know this sounds bizarre, but literally planning your outfits. Because if you think about overwhelm, that you're late for work or you're getting ready for work, and then you're like, where's my clothes? Where's this? Where's that? Where's the bra that I wear with that dress? And then you just start freaking out. If you have that in place, you're finding that solution before the problem pops up.
That is such a good tip. I'm totally going to steal that. I love that.
Making sure that you know what's going on for dinner. You don't have to plan it all and cook it all, because that's obviously other things to do, but just really thinking about, personally to you, what would make your life easier? So I know we spoke about this earlier. What are your kind of things that you feel help you throughout the day in a salon?
Jo, thank you. Honestly, we are so excited to have you part of our team now, you know, as our resident guru when it comes to mindfulness. And I'm not surprised. Such great words there. I think certainly overwhelming. And George, you were just saying whilst watching that, you said, I do that, don't you, about planning out your outfits and working
I've planned out my outfits, I've scheduled my showers, like I've literally gone through my week and I've literally put in gaps for everything. Just because there's nothing more. I've got 3 kids, they're 8 and under. If I can't get up and I can't find that bra or that pair of knickers that I wear with that outfit, then it's going to be the biggest stress of my life. So I just basically, as soon as I get home, I go upstairs and I get it all out of my wardrobe ready for the next day, because it's one less job.
Yeah, I mean, this is really becoming part of our industry, isn't it, Jordanna? And I know you brought this concept really to the show about mindfulness, and it really is important to people, isn't it? Because it really helps you feel good about yourself and everything going forward, which, you know, once stress and that all starts building up, which comes from, as what Jo says, being overwhelmed, then, yeah, the knock-on effects of that can be quite devastating.
Sure, I think we're obsessed with giving more and more value for money. What more can we do? What other skills can we bring to hairdressing to counsel our clients? But we forget to take care of us sometimes. So I think some of the Jo's really simple techniques or micro habitual changes, I think, are great to take on. And if you listen to the full version of the interview, we'll be posting that later on Facebook. She goes on to talk about single tasking and trying to focus on one thing at a time. And if you do have things that come into your head, like a thought about, oh, I better do this evening, but you're with a client, just pop it down on a sticky note or get someone to pop it down on a sticky note, because I always have sticky notes at the back of my pocket, and it really helps with to-do lists, because I have a memory of a goldfish. All my team always mocking me for having the worst memory, because I just forget everything, because there's no ability to retain everything. But I think, yeah, this is just great. I'm so happy about Mindful Mondays to look after ourselves and take some more lessons from Jo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what would be nice, actually, guys, everybody watching in, maybe there's some questions that you would like to put to Jo, and Jordanna can maybe take those questions. So maybe, you know, get in touch with the show, and, you know, if you want to put, you know, you don't have to reveal your name, but if there is something you would like answering by Jo, I'm sure she'd be happy to, you know, add for that, and, you know, maybe give you some advice on there. And how's your mindset, George? Are you feeling more relaxed than where you were at the start of the week? Give us some positive thinking. Come on.
Yeah, no, I am, definitely. I think everything just, you know, my dad always says to me, it's really cliche, but if you prepare to prevent or prevent to fail,
that's
like, or prepare to fail, like my dad always says that to me. And I think it is just a case of, like, I'm looking at my week ahead and I'm just kind of like trying to schedule everything in. I am a bit overwhelmed because, like, this week's been new, but I've done a whole rebrand, so everything's new. Do you know what I mean? Like, the systems are new. Everyone's come back to a completely new thing. But yeah, I just think it's just a little bit of time stepping aside and looking at what you need to do. And I don't feel as panicked. Getting my outfits out has helped a little bit, because it's like saved me at least 20-30 minutes in the morning. But yeah, it's the new normal, isn't it, guys? Like, no one ever expected this. You know, everyone on New Year's Eve that put 2020 is going to be my year. No one expected a global pandemic. Nobody expected this to happen. So I think we're all in the same boat, you know?
Absolutely. And like I say, we're coming towards the end of the show now, guys. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed this tonight, and have really enjoyed your engagement. And Wednesday, you're doing an interview, aren't you, Jordanna? Can you just quickly, I think that's going to be part of the hair show. Is it something that you're going to be talking about?
So the next guest on Mindful Mondays is an incredible lady called Amanda, and she has a wealth of experience in everything mental well-being, but particularly with aromatherapy associate oils. So she talks about the blends and what we can do with oils to actually help our feet, help our back, and also just breathing in the oils before night before bedtime, how that can actually have an effect on our mental health and subconsciously send us into a deeper sleep. And I think we'll all be needing some of that in the next month or so. But one thing I forgot to tell you guys that has really helped is having that extra 5 or 10 minutes in between each appointment, to give yourself time to actually wipe down the section, but also just to have a bit of a breather. And if you do smoke, to have a bit of a smoke, or if you don't smoke, have a bit of fresh air. And that's really, really helped. So if you haven't done that, maybe try that if
yeah, I don't know if well-being sort of preaches this whole go and have a fag in the private. Hey, look, if it helps you relax, go and have a fag, you know what I mean? You know?
Me and Jordan earlier were like, should we go voice note and have a fag?
Yeah, let's go and have a fag. Now I feel a whole lot better. Breathe in the fresh air.
You know what,
it's quality. I love that, Jordanna. That's fantastic. Yeah, well, we all need a little bit of sleep to just ease up the day. So, look, ladies, it's been a joy to be with you again tonight, and I can't wait to next Monday already. So, yeah, I just want to say goodbye to you all. And guys, I'm just gonna, as I say, gonna give you a little, formal goodbye. But yeah, everybody, say goodbye to Jordanna and George, and they will see you next week. See you later, ladies.
Take care, everyone.
There we go. I'm still chuckling about that. Have a fag, that would make you feel a whole lot better. So, look, guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. An hour and 3/4, I think we've been. No, an hour and 15. So much great content. So, yeah, want to get involved in the show. It's very easy. You want to do a how-to, if you want to do a rock up and share, you want to do a hairdresser's open talk, whatever that may be, get in touch with the show and tell your friends and your colleagues about the show. Tell them why you're enjoying it, because I've got to say, I've been talking to a lot of people in the industry, and this show is really, really going down a storm. And that's because really it's engagement, isn't it? It's all about us all talking. We're all hairdressers. And even my best buddy, Ben, he's here, and he's not even a hairdresser, and he enjoys it. So maybe even your clients. So anything that you want to bring into the show. And also, if you want to check out my podcast, How to Cut It, I have a great one today with Christelle Barrenhow. She talks about why she always wanted to be a hairdresser. So if you're looking to reconnect with hairdressing right now, have a listen to that. It's on the How to Cut It platform, and it's on all your podcast providers. So thank you so much. It really has been a joy. We're going to play out now with TikToks, which is great. And I'm going to just flag up some of your comments. And yeah, keep on tuning in, guys. We love doing this show for you. So until next Monday, peace, love and smiles all the way. Goodbye.